You know what he's describing? He's describing his human nature and his God self.
His
God self is
His
using his
spiritual self.
whatever you call it, whatever
You can call it anything, but I am aware at that time I am.
Whatever you call it, his God nature is using his human nature to experience.
Okay, good.
But we are saying,
pointing at
even
that
in the
division.
God state, is he absent without thoughts?
Yeah.
But wait.
No, I am.
Okay, if me, I'm getting
No,
you
you
guys
can't.
correct and how you
You are
describe
saying I can't based on what?
Based on the fact that, okay, first of
Based
all,
on the limitations of the knowledge that you have.
Wait.
Okay, no, wait.
let
Let me
them
follow. No, let me follow your point.
Okay.
You said there's a human me,
Yeah,
and then there's a God me.
sure.
Who brought that division?
Our description that the description that we are using now in order to understand the topic.
Okay, which means
There's no division.
Which means
The division is us trying to describe
understand.
what we are
Yes, that
talking
causes a
about.
division.
Take it easy, my brother. Take it easy. Look at this. You said there's a me,
Sure.
and then there's a God.
Yeah,
Aren't you thinking about that?
yeah, I am
For you
thinking.
to say that.
Yeah,
You were taught.
Right. Now you might say, oh yeah, there's my consciousness and then my subconscious.
Sure.
That is a division of thought.
your past and your
That is
present.
that is knowledge
yeah,
in operation. Knowledge being in the past.
yeah.
All right. What you could be referring to as your God self is
Yeah.
what is happening now.
No.
What?
No.
No. Understand what he's saying, boss.
What is it
Understand it this way, right?
No, don't talk for him.
Okay.
Let him talk.
My God self or our God self.
Yeah.
We are talking about the essence of nature.
Yes.
Of reality, the
Yes.
fundamental aspect
On the
of
existential
reality.
level.
Which is
Now, when we come to what we're experiencing now,
Yeah.
with this, that's another layer.
Yes.
That this nature expressed itself
Yes.
in order to
so.
experience.
What is your
Yes.
fundamental sense?
We are God. One thing.
Okay.
We
Thank
are
you.
that thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's a thing.
Yeah.
Can you see that projection?
Sure.
There's a thing.
Yeah.
That's movement. That's
Yeah.
what I want you to focus on.
But remember, don't get caught up with what I'm saying. These are just words and phrases.
I know I'm
Yeah.
way
Without
beyond.
me used to
I'm way
understand.
beyond the words.
Okay.
I'm looking at what you're pointing at.
Okay.
You're projecting something. There's
Yeah.
a movement, right?
Yeah.
There seems to be a here and a there.
Sure.
Now, isn't that movement the process of thought?
Yeah, it is.
is.
It's consciousness in movement.
Yes.
Now,
Is
good.
it in past, present, or future?
Time it's not. It's out of time.
No,
Because
even-
I want to go back to the time,
Yeah.
because that's how he started this whole
But you
conversation.
always have the
It
past,
started with
present, and
time.
future.
But-
Can you set it where
It
is?
started with time. Let's
But-
not move away from
But
it.
remember, with time, it's based on our angle of perception of reality.
Yes. After
For
you've achieved
source,
thoughts.
When
that
to-
doesn't mean
Yes.
anything.
know
So
why-
when talking
why I
time,
say
let's just
time-
use time in three, like past, present, and future.
Yeah.
This is the only time ruler we can use, right?
Okay.
So in that godly state,
Yeah.
are you in the present? Are you in the future? Are you in
That's
the
what
past?
I
There's no
There's
such.
no time there.
You are
There's no
in
time.
the beginning, you're in the end.
Yeah.
But
So
you
do
are
you know
creating
the past?
time.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is there
You are
anything called
constantly
past?
creating
Isn't,
time.
because it does not
Okay.
exist at
I'm
that
saying
level.
you are creating time. Let me show you how you
Yeah,
creating
our
time.
level of reality.
No,
Yes,
let me
we
show
say
you
we are
a
creating time, but at God level, there's no
There's no
creating
time.
of time.
Which is the- okay,
Past,
let me show you what's
present,
happening.
and
Yeah.
future always exist at the same time.
If
To me,
you're interpreting it based on the thoughts, on the movement, that's what it is. Because you are interpreting it at that level. like what
let
you're
me
saying.
explain it further. Remember that example I used of a computer having many folders.
Sure.
I can have a past folder open on me, a future, what I need or what I'm hoping for, open on me, whilst engaging you now on the present.
At the level of
So
thought,
that's
yes.
why
Yeah.
that's why I say my past, my present, and my future are always happening at the same
There's
time.
no dispute about that.
We are
At
not
the level of
disputing that.
thought, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So-
but at the level that we are
Of
talking
source.
about, of source, where I am at that moment,
Which
there
level?
is neither,
Of source.
apart from,
Yeah,
the no-
how are you aware of that level?
okay, this is how I'm aware. I'm saying, you see thought.
Yeah.
Thought is the one that is the level where you are at now, where you are understanding the world wearing those lens of thought, right? We are saying strip that away. You understand?
And what
Because
is there when you strip that away?
Is source.
there's the source.
No. don't think.
Yeah.
What is there when there's no thought?
There's no
How do you,
time.
wait, this
No,
is the
no,
question
look,
I have for the two of
wait,
them.
wait, Felisa, wait. See how thought is clever. What is there when there's no thought? See how impossible that is.
But wait.
Well, see-
Yeah.
see-
You are saying it's
no,
impossible.
you see-
It's not. We are trying to
find what is there.
It's not. It's not. We haven't answered.
Whoa.
We haven't
Calm down.
answered.
This is what I want to ask the two of you. I get boss and I get the two of you. At which point of arrival do you say, now I've stepped into my godly state? Okay, now I've stepped out of it. What's the determining factor? Is it thoughts or is it not thoughts? Is it time? Is it not time? Is it reality? Is it not? Or how do you know that you are constantly moving between these two realities that you have created for yourself? And how did you get to that realization of this division of knowing that there's a godly state and there's a physical state? That division, what derives the division? What's the determining factor for this division? And if it is not a division, why is it not a division? Because it's two separate things, apparently, according to how you're explaining it right now. To say there's you at this level of consciousness, there's you at this level of observation and living. So it's a division of some sort. So what's the determining fact? How do you get there? And how do you know whether you've stepped into it or stepped out of it or you are outside of it altogether? Are they constantly coexisting together as you're moving in life and progressing in life? And why are you saying at your godly state there are no memories or there's no thoughts? How do you even know that there are no thoughts when you're at your godly state? Is that not thought itself thinking that there is no thoughts in the godly state?
No.
Or
We
there's
didn't
that
say there are no
assumption,
memories.
the assumption or illusion that comes with the thoughts that there are no thoughts in the godly state, that in its own are thoughts.
Yeah, it's because you think these two things are working against each other.
No, I said they are. I asked if they coexist.
So
if
let
they can
me also
coexist.
respond to that. If you get a new phone, right? Before you open it, is it a phone? Exactly. So I'm saying as I come as a human being and I drop like this without thought, I am.
Yes.
Understand that I am.
Yes, we are
and
not
then
disputing that.
the lack of understanding what I am then shouldn't deny that I am, because I am. So that I am, the closest to it is the source of where it came from. So at that level, I'm in my godly state, what he said. There is neither time nor anything. But where the mess up happens is the introduction of the thought. Do you understand? Because like a new phone, you can take it and create a bomb out of it. Do you understand? And then you can say, well, it was a bomb to start with. It was not. So as a human being, once you are, you already are. There's no debate because there's absence of thought. You already are. Thought comes in because it now wants to understand your environment.
So you're separating yourself.
It's not separate,
from thought.
it's together. So I'm saying once you are here, depending on the thoughts
No,
that
you
you
say
have.
as a human being, once you are there.
There's no thoughts.
What-
you
once
are
you are-
just I.
say
What
when
is
you
definite
drop.
is the I.
Yes, the I, the consciousness is there.
Yeah.
It is this I that even disappears when you die.
So the consciousness does not have thoughts at that point. It's just there in its physical, godly state,
Can I answer?
but
Can I
without
answer?
thoughts.
Can I answer? For consciousness, thought, it's expressing itself as us.
Yes.
Thought is dreaming of us experiencing reality.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take it back to his question, because I also have the same perception. A baby is born. It just landed in its godly
Yeah.
state.
It is I.
Does the baby have thoughts or not
Baby
at
no,
that
has
point?
one eye.
So
The
when you
baby
put it
there.
that way, the baby might not have the thoughts that maybe you are thinking of right now.
Yeah, like
but
us.
the baby is I there. It is
What is
conscious.
No, wait. Answer my question.
let me answer it.
Answer my
Let me
question.
answer it.
Let's go. Let me
try.
take it
Yeah, let
slowly.
me
Wait,
answer it.
let me
Yeah.
take it slowly.
No, I understand.
No,
Let me
no.
answer it.
I want
don't
us
think you
all.
missed
I want
Okay.
all of us to go
Can I
through
suggest
it.
something?
Let
Can I
us
suggest
paint.
something?
Wait,
Can
no.
I
Let us
suggest
paint before I
something?
forget
Let
it.
me something is
Wait,
thrown.
let me just finish
Yeah,
it
let us
before I
finish.
forget
You'll
it.
forget the
So
thought, yeah.
let's envision labor ward.
Okay.
Gynecologists, doctors, everybody there.
Sure.
Sharp, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push. Baby comes out.
Sure.
baby cries,
Yeah.
that baby has landed, right? Are there thoughts? Are there no thoughts?
Okay, can I answer that? Boo, boo, boo. A new phone comes. Is it a phone?
No,
but why-
let's not say
Come
phone.
on.
Let's not say phone. Let's say
Okay,
baby.
if then not that example, let me answer your question.
Let's
The
say
baby, at that
baby.
moment, the baby, right?
Can I answer?
The baby is I.
Yeah.
We are
Apart from
not
the thoughts.
disputing that. We are
Can I
not
answer?
disputing the
Can I
physical
answer?
You
eye.
want to ask what I is? I'm saying that is the I.
No. She's asking about thoughts. Like, can
Yeah.
I
I'm
answer?
asking about thoughts. I have not disputed whether the baby is in its godly state or not. I have not disputed. As a matter of fact, the baby is at its highest form
Sure.
of godly state, of
Yes,
godliness.
yes.
There is no person on earth who can ever reach that high level of
Yes,
source.
yeah.
yes.
The baby is tapped deep into source because
Yes,
the baby is
it's coming
pure,
from the source.
knows nothing
Yes,
at all, and so
yes.
therefore is that capsule of light in its purest
Yes,
form,
yes,
rarest
yes.
form.
Yeah.
So I agree from a godly state.
Sure.
But I am saying from a thoughts perspective,
Can I answer?
what are you saying?
Can I
I
answer?
agree
All right,
on the
okay.
eye.
No, I not
But
got you.
on that's why I
Okay.
said let me paint it for now that
Yeah.
we've become Picasso's answer.
Yeah. Can I answer? The baby at that level is just pure experience without any filters of this is what, this is what, this is what. It's just pure experience. From moving of the hand, doesn't even know of the hand. That's why what he was saying, that babies at that level, they don't have any sense of separation of reality.
So you
they
agree
see
with
everything
him.
as
So
one.
you
You
agree
understand
with
my
him.
point.
So you agree
No,
with him.
you- I think the difference
But we are
is-
saying, boss, we are saying what that baby is at that level.
Yeah.
That's the I.
Yeah.
As you grow up, it gets diminished by the thought.
filters of
The
environment.
Now that's why I'm not agreeing with you.
Why?
You know why? You see, when a baby looks at a hand,
What's looking at the hand?
there's looking, there's
Consciousness.
What is
that-
look?
let
What
me
is
show you-
observing
well,
the
let me
hand?
tell you
The
what is
baby.
looking. Looking is capturing this.
What's capturing
Listen,
in a baby?
when the eye looks at a hand, not the eye, not this. I'm not talking about the inside eye, the physical action
Yeah.
of looking.
Yeah.
There's a looking, contact, the sense, and then there's a recording of the hand. That forms now the eye. That's when thoughts arise. That's when the self starts
Yeah.
building itself
Yeah.
through experiences.
Experience.
So there's an emptiness behind. That now is filled with all different
What's
experiences.
taking in that emptiness?
Come again?
What is
What's
taking
taking
in
in
that
that
emptiness? What is
How
what is
can-
absorbing that knowledge?
Where there's emptiness, there's nothing.
Yeah, but there's
Use
space.
that analogy
No.
which
There's
I
that,
said
there's,
it's a
that, there's
unit
that
Space is
emptiness.
already-
gonna come
There's that
gather
emptiness.
Yeah.
So
knowledge.
look at it this way. For something to go somewhere, there must be a destination.
Yeah,
And
that's
for
space.
something to come from somewhere, it must have left somewhere, right? So I'm saying you have this entity that has an affinity for thoughts, and it is doing exactly what you are saying.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
God.
now let me tell you what.
Answer what that is, because that is an
God
operation.
is
You must
experiencing
let me
reality
answer.
through us.
You know why? You know why you're talking too much? Or I'm not saying in a bad way, please. Why you're thinking too much? It's because you're avoiding that. That's why
Avoiding.
there's all this fuss about I, a, me, or us all. You are constantly avoiding that. You're not even giving yourself that small space
Yes.
to be there.
Yes.
That's why we have all this division.
Yes. Yes.
So let's forget the babies. Here among us, why can't you stop thinking?
When
see,
you, when,
you see.
when, no, I want to understand.
No, before we even
I want to understand
No,
because when
you
you
will
throw
be-
it, I must know that I'm understanding it the way you are putting it out.
Do you want me to put
Yeah.
it differently?
No, don't put it differently. I'm going to say it and get the feel if I'm getting it correctly
Yes, yes.
because I want to go with you. So when you put it that way and say, as I'm sitting here, you are saying if I think of something, right? What is that is doing the thinking?
No, before we even get
Why
there.
can't you stop yourself from thinking?
Why can't you?
What do you define as stopping myself from thinking? What would it be?
Like empty space.
Empty with that empty space. Why
No,
there's
you
no...
can
Okay,
do
thank
that
you.
through
Thank you.
meditation.
Thank you.
No,
So-
wait.
No, wait. That is exactly that is exactly where I'm going. So, boss, look at it this way. So it's a free space, and as
Yes.
much as I'm entertaining what you are saying, right? When try and allow me to take you through also.
Please, no,
what I-
please,
what-
no,
yeah.
no. There's no limitation.
So as you are saying, you can't then say. with thought removed, everything ceases. Because whatever is happening is a product of thought. Because you are taking thought as the source of anything a human being can ever do.
Can
Correct.
I say this is going to confuse everyone? How I got to understand your view. This is how I was taught. Let's use that image of there is a God. Ne?
Okay.
That God is thinking. We are thoughts.
Yeah, of
from that
God.
thinking mind.
Thank
you. Yes,
We are
exactly.
just
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we are thought. We will never cease to be thoughts, me and you.
But
'Cause we
now,
are not in
Boss
control
is
of
asking,
everything.
Boss is asking that.
But that
at best,
thought
what are
also
you?
has the power to have its own thoughts. I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah.
It's like there is this one broadcasting satellite. We are these small
Particles
antennas.
smaller, yeah.
Yes.
There I agree with you. So that's where I was coming back when he says we are in our godly state. It's because at arrival on this earth, we are all sparks or specks from the godly source.
Sure.
So then what he's then trying to say is you are struggling understanding what we are when we arrive here. That's the struggle that you are.
No,
No,
I'm not
he's
struggling.
He's not struggling.
No.
He's saying, can you stop yourself from
From
thinking
thinking.
I want to
that
show
you
you
are
what is
that
going
source
on right
and that
now.
godly state?
Yes.
Because
Leave
remember,
that
you are
division.
thinking that you are your godly state. For some reason, you have that knowledge, that recollection of saying, I am self, and self is source, and self is core self. So, how do you ever get to a point of stopping your mind and
No.
not having
So
to
once-
think
once you-
about
once you
I and
arrive-
being aware and all
No,
of that?
once you arrive, that process starts.
Okay,
But are
now-
you able to stop yourself from
I'm
ever?
saying you can't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
good.
we're together.
Good. So that's a very good start.
Okay.
See how serious this thing gets now. There's no control. There's no controller. You have the illusion that I am there doing something. Therefore, I can choose this over the illusion is the options, the division. Because without the division, you remove the what is there. You're terrified of that.
No, what is there is the cold state. It doesn't terrify
What
you.
is
But
godly
it's still
state?
fear of the
Yes, I was
unknown.
putting
No,
it
no,
in
no,
follow-up
no,
question.
but
we are
don't
answering.
take, don't, I'm answering. You know what the struggle
No,
is.
you know,
boss.
the
You know what
godly
the
state,
struggle
you're
is.
calling it godly state.
Yes,
so I'm
so-
calling it nothing.
Yes,
Let's
so
agree.
understand why
Yeah.
I'm calling it gold state, the gold state.
Yeah.
It's because when you arrive in this world as a baby, you do not have any fears. And God doesn't have any fears. Do you get what I'm saying?
We all agree on it.
Yes. So there's the question of I, because I think that's where also we start separating. You understand? The question of I. I'm saying what I am, you will get to know if you understand the source.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you want to understand what I am after the thoughts. After the thoughts, you already not yourself. Because these thoughts are
So
things that
there's
you
no
found
way
here.
to understand that because
There is.
everything
You are saying
starts
there's
by
no-
thoughts. You
No,
said
there-
after being a baby,
There
you will
is.
have thoughts. So
No,
everything
no, no,
starts
no.
by
As
thoughts.
long,
You
as, long
said
as
that.
you are thinking,
You said
You
when
are
you
not
come here,
that.
there's nothing.
Yes.
No, no, no.
And then
no, no,
thoughts
no, no,
start.
no, no, no. Understand what I'm saying. I'll repeat. I said as I arrive, I am. But your understanding of I is that I encompasses thoughts. That is your limited understanding. That comes from the limited thoughts that were fed into you. That is why you're understanding this
fed
thing
ba-
as you
fed
are.
into me.
It
how?
can be values, morals, and everything.
No,
That's how your
before.
understanding of I is.
How is thoughts? How do I think? How do you start any thought?
Yes. Let's start from there.
Yeah.
So when you arrive, right, your understanding of how you started thought, right, is an after thing. Do you understand?
So there's a contact.
Yes, there's a
Yeah.
contact. It's an after. It's like, I don't know how I can explain. You are trying to understand something after.
To talk about this, you
Okay,
need
you
to
know,
be taught
the
about
difficulty
this
is
first.
what?
And think,
You're
Give
trying
me a
to
little
think
bit
about
information about this before
listen,
you
my
think
brothers.
about it.
The difficulty is you're constantly going places. Childhood, God states. I'm saying we can find the answers right now. Let's try experimentally. Let's do it.
Okay.
Now,
To answer.
No, wait, brother. Slowly, right? A car. I just said it. You're thinking about it. You can literally picture a car right now if you want.
Correct.
Now, why? You heard me say it. There was an action. I say something, the whole sound of it, you picture, you acquire it in your mind, then there's a connection of a previous, you've already seen what a car is, then there's a linkage. That is thought. So thought is a movement of space, which is a movement of time. Without this movement, you wouldn't be aware, you wouldn't have thinking.
So that's where I differ with what you are saying. When you say you wouldn't, do you understand? Because that is a statement of certainty. Or certainty. It's like a perfect state that you are saying it exists regardless. But now this is what I'm then saying to you. So as you speak, so understand it this way: we come into this world, we take it in, whatever we take in. I'm saying that which we take in has limitations.
Always.
Yes,
Thought
always.
Itself
yeah.
in itself
so
is
if
limited.
it has limitations, it has not it cannot have a definite statements that are like there and they exist. So when you say it wouldn't, already you're saying as if it's a complete thing that cannot be moved. And I'm differing there. I'm saying you are
and
arriving
whatever,
there.
So, and whatever you counter that with is also limited.
No. It is limited based on the knowledge that I have. But this is what I'm saying. You cannot deny that when we arrive, we are. We can't deny that. And because
when you say we are, what do you mean by that?
We are in existence. You can't deny that.
Yeah, we. What is that we? What is that I? That's what I'm talking about.
The I that you're talking about, maybe to put it in an example, I still go back to the example of an adult. Take an adult, right, and put them here, devoid of these things that we are talking about. What do you have? I'm asking you, what do you have?
Psychologically speaking, there's nothing.
Okay, and then in other existential...
It's God. Why you guys
what's
are
there?
running away from
Yeah, they are scared of it. You are scared of it. You know why you're scared? Because you don't know. Remember, because the thoughts you have want to lead you there. Remember, because these thoughts have been made in such a way. That's why you see even now.
In fact, I would say you are the most scared of it.
I'm impressing it.
No, let me tell you why you're scared of it.
Why?
Let me tell you why
I'm
you're scared of
impressing it.
No.
You defending what you
Let
know.
me tell you why you're
You are saying as if, okay,
what you know.
Please allow me. Let me tell you why you're scared of it. And perhaps my brother here. You see, you are constantly thinking about it.
I'm not. Why
No,
are you saying I am?
the very second you say God state, that's thought.
But it's not constant thought. When you say I'm
What?
constantly thinking
If you are
of it,
not thinking about God's state,
I'm not constantly. I am thinking of it, but not constantly.
No, okay. Let me remove the
Let him
concept.
describe.
If you are not thinking about God's state, you are thinking about human state. You are thinking about your 200 rand. You are thinking about your wife. Thinking, constantly thinking.
Sure.
That's what I said. Since we've been here, it's been thoughts in action.
Yeah.
You realize that even when you want, you can't stop that movement. In fact, wanting is the movement.
You can, boss.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
can
do it.
stop it.
Go ahead.
That's what I was saying. He also mentioned it. You can stop this through meditation.
Yeah.
Just because
Okay, no,
you have
let's
not-
meditate. Why? Let's meditate.
No.
And see how-
Okay.
No, let's go ahead.
Wait.
Let's meditate.
Wait. It's fine. Wait, let me approach it from what he's saying. So look at it this way. Because you see a destination, your inability to get to it does not is not denial of that destination. Do you understand? So I can be here and I wish to go to America, and I don't get there. But because I can't get there, your reasoning of saying, okay, if you can, let's do it now. You are saying it because you think because we can't do
It's
it.
impossible.
Then it's
You know what
not
I'm saying?
existent.
Our minds are here. Can we stop our minds from thinking? No.
I would like to ask
We
a
can't.
question.
Yeah.
Right. So you are saying we can manage our thoughts through different methodologies.
Yes.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Sharp.
I'm saying before I
And-
get there, any method is thought.
Yes, I'm going there. So you're saying one example is meditation.
Sure.
Right. So Are we talking meditation with sound, without sound?
So wait,
No, because I want my example to be perfect. Because I want my example to be perfect
Yeah.
and based on him.
Whatever
So,
works
sound,
whatever works.
sound-
At this point, it doesn't. But even if in meditation,
Okay, wait. There's a reason why I wanted to find out. There's
Yeah.
a reason why I wanted to find out. Because if you are going to meditate to sound, then there's thought. Because how do you know what the sound sounds like? How do you know that the sound is going to calm you down or is going to help you stop your thoughts? So there has to be a captured memory stored somewhere that has a recollection of the sound. So you are thinking, even in meditation. So then therefore, you cannot stop your thoughts,
No, I'm
you know?
not
But now,
Now wait. Let's move away from meditation with sound. Let's say it's meditation just on your own.
Yeah.
You know, whether you close your eyes or you open your eyes, whether you sit in a different position or whatever. At the end of the day, you are still thinking, because to meditate, you have to control what goes in here. The fact that you have to control it is you thinking about it. How do you know that you are controlling your mind and your mind is not thinking about anything? You have to control the way that you breathe. How do you know that you are controlling the way that you breathe whilst you're meditating? You have to control a certain position so that when you fold your legs, there's not too much tension on your knees or whatever, and the next thing you know, you are uncomfortable and you've got cramps and there's no blood flow. How do you make sure that you take in what you want to take in, which is positive thoughts, and you release the negative thoughts, because that's the whole point of meditation, to be able to release the bad energy and to be able to inhale and give your body that good positive energy at that point. So there's already that mechanism of energy, the release and the inhalation of good and bad, your yin and yang that is happening at that point. You know, you are centering and aligning your chakras. You have to sit in a certain position. You have to be aware that the position is still kept, you know, when you're meditating. And then apart from that, there's beds, there's cars, there's footsteps, there's people. You constantly have to train your ears to shut the noise, because you cannot be completely in a silent room. Even in temples, believe you me, there is still sound. Even in temples, there's still sound. So you are constantly aware. And because you are constantly aware of the physical and the outer, you are then in thought to say, I hear that bed, I must shut it out. I hear those footsteps, I must shut it out. Maybe you are meditating in a group, this one is breathing loudly, I must shut it out. You are constantly in thought, even in meditating. So even the methodologies or methodologies that we come up with in trying to suppress or to limit ourselves in not thinking, there is still thinking in its sheer essence.
Okay, let me respond to what she's saying. There's a video I watched, one of the podcasts that you said. I'm not sure what the gentleman's name is, but he spoke of this incident where a guy was involved in a shootout. So they were in a situation where someone was just shooting people randomly. And then when they came to that person and they were shooting him, that person had a vision. He says that person saw themselves, I think he says, at the top of at the church. So I'll tell you why it happened that way, at least from how I understand it. So at that state when you're about to die, you realize that all thoughts means nothing, because it can't even save you from the bullet that's coming. So you abandon thoughts. At that point when you abandon it, there is something that comes into operation that does not come into operation the way you are explaining now. You see visions. So do you get that? So once you cease and you put away your thoughts, you then operate in your godly state. That's the state where you see vision. Someone will tell you that I was about to die and I didn't know what to do. So at that point, I'm saying at that point,
thoughts. Are visions not
no,
thoughts?
But here and here from the perspective that I'm saying, you want to boil it into thoughts, and because you want to do that, it will be hard for you to then understand why someone would be here and they will see something somewhere else.
But I'm not disputing that.
If
Remember, we were all in agreement of saying you're constantly thinking of the
anything
past,
other than
the
thought in
present.
this world?
It depends.
Is there anything other than thought in this world?
That's what I'm saying.
From
You have a
your
definition. You have a
understanding.
definition of thought.
Yeah, I have
right?
my own.
Maybe that definition does not allow you to say there can be anything that exists on the outside.
But what
So
is
this
the-
is why
what
I was
the
then asking
definition
that-
of thoughts?
This is why I was saying,
Yeah.
at that point, from what I understand, so he says this guy then had a vision. Do you realize that these things only come to you when you abandon what you think you know, when you put it aside?
Okay, simple. Actually, that's why I'm bringing you back here.
Yeah.
Do you realize that you can really see me only when you're not thinking about me?
I can only see you when I'm not thinking about
Yeah.
you.
Well, do you
Can you
realize?
imagine him without thinking about him?
Without thinking about me, as long as you're thinking about your own things, let's say
And you
think
pop
about
up
the
in
car.
his mind.
Yeah.
You mean like that?
No, I'm saying, put away the vision. As long as you are thinking about your 200 rands that you forgot at home, you are not here with me.
It's true.
So I'm saying, I agree with you. When that isn't, you are, something else is happening. Then you capture that. That is the I now.
Thank you.
Thought.
It's good that you are calling it the eye, but at that time, what kind of thought is it that allows you to see vision?
I think
No,
where
doesn't
we
wanna
are
agree
not
is a
finding
thought.
each other. He's looking at thought as the process of describing your reality and processing
Yes.
reality based on the filters that you know. And you are describing thought as consciousness,
Yeah, well, without
the movement of thinking.
Yeah, well,
It's actually
Remember
without
everything
that.
before
how
the
are you
physical, it
conscious of
starts
anything?
from the...
Sorry?
without without thinking,
Uh-huh.
how can you be conscious of anything?
But
you can
remember-
only be conscious of a thought.
No, remember the description of consciousness is the movement of thought,
Yes.
Yes.
encompassing all
Yes.
description that
Yes.
we've come to know.
It's a movement. Of
Yeah.
thought.
So you're factoring time again.
But,
Yes, it's
but
time.
are you saying,
Okay.
are you saying in the absence
Okay.
of thought you can't be conscious of anything?
Consciousness is thought.
Okay. Answer it this way so that I understand. Because if you answer it that way, I would think you are saying something which I'm not saying. Are you saying in the absence of thought, there is no conscious?
There's no conscience. There's some. Sorry, I'm going to use again thoughts to describe this, but there's something. Consciousness, as you know it, is in that.
Okay, so a
There's no division.
newborn baby, newborn baby. What is the first contact with thought?
But you know,
It's just
first,
experience
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There is just
Just
experience.
experience.
Okay.
It's
Pure
accumulation.
experience.
All right.
Yeah.
What is it that is experiencing?
Source.
So,
God is
Yeah.
experiencing.
That source I'm saying is the I, because that
Yeah.
source exists even apart from
Yeah.
the thought. Because there's a point when the child is without thought. Can you agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, let me tell you first. I think first we shouldn't be discussing children. We are grown ups. But if you're going to go, if you're going to look at it, because I mean, we could be wrong. We don't know really. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a lot of sons that we don't know.
Yes,
about.
because it's a part of our lives
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
can't really, yeah.
We can't really remember. But from observation, I can see that what makes consciousness
Yeah.
is the content of consciousness itself. Without the content of consciousness isn't. That's what maybe you're calling God state.
Can
But
I,
I'm
No, no,
saying,
no, 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 no.
No.
You
can I
can't-
try this?
no,
Wait,
Can I
wait,
try
wait.
this, Jim?
Remember, when you
It's
say
levels.
God's state, it's an emotional experience. It's not
see,
processing.
emotion. What is emotion?
Yeah, emotion is something a sensation that is experienced by the body.
For you to be emotional,
Yeah.
you have to be conscious of the emotion.
No,
No, you don't have to be conscious
That's where
of
that's
the
where you are
emotion.
wrong. You don't have to be
You
conscious.
don't have to be. That's why fear.
Okay, fear, yeah?
Yeah, you can just be sitting here.
Yeah.
Suddenly a sensation just rushed through the body.
Okay, so let me tell you what fear is.
Fear
Fear is, let's say you're afraid of snakes. For you to be afraid of snakes,
Yeah.
it's past knowledge, past experience,
Sure.
which you have kept inside of you,
Yeah.
which is you.
Uh-huh.
Now, when that comes back as thought,
Yeah.
fear arises. That's what you call fear.
Okay, why isn't a baby scared of snakes?
Because
No,
they haven't
don't
experienced.
delay him.
Okay,
Let him
fine,
explain.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
they haven't experienced. They don't have.
Okay, so what is that
consciousness.
thing
You're
that
scared because
exists
you were told
apart
it's a
from the
snake,
fear
it
of the snake?
bites. If you were not told,
There's
it's a
nothing.
snake
That's my
bites, you will
point.
never be
Without
scared
thought,
of it.
there isn't a thing. You have an idea of a thing only through thought.
Yes.
Okay, can I add on to what you're
At the
saying?
level
You
of
see-
existence that you're explaining, that's how it works.
Now,
But
you
I'm
see,
saying at
the idea you have of levels. That's
It's thought
thinking.
itself.
It's the devising nature of thought. Levels, structures,
State.
inside, outside.
But
that is
you
thought.
guys are not being fair.
They're not
Because these
understand-
descriptions,
They are not working
we are
against
using
each
it
other.
in order for us to be able
To understand
communicate
each
and
other.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, but
They're not a
that-
division
okay,
that
so now you're
separates
seeing
them.
the limitation of thought.
No, I'm not seeing it because
No,
I'm trying to
I mean-
explain something. I'm trying to explain something.
Proving my point, my brother. If you say the word is not, there's something behind the word.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it. So which means don't take my thought for it. That's the limitation of thought. Leave it there. Leave it at it. Don't even try to think about that again. That's you again. That's the cunning nature of thought. Yet you can't help yourself. Every
Wait.
other second you jump into.
Okay, let me
Like
see
right
if
now.
I'm understanding you properly. You are saying thought is limited because when we try to communicate,
Can't touch that.
which is that?
Which is that?
Yeah, that's my limitation as well. I'm trying to describe something beyond thought by thinking about it.
What is
You
it?
see,
And he does not have it because he has
This is what he's trying to
I'm saying what it
communicate to
is.
you.
Yeah.
That thing that you are trying to
Yeah.
think about, you experience. That's why we say God's state.
no, that's what I'm saying. That's a mistake. You see, naming it, describing it, is running away from it. Don't describe it. Don't name it. So when you do that, even right now, slowly if you do it, you can see there's a sense of uneasiness. Somehow you still want to
So how do you run towards
think
it?
about it.
For me, it's
How do you run towards something then?
Yeah, don't even run towards it.
It's right there.
Because when you run towards something, you mean there's something, there's a me here and there's that.
Yeah.
You've introduced that division. Now, when that division, I'm going to use my limited thought to make sense of it. When that division isn't there, isn't that nothing?
It's not nothing.
Okay, wait.
is not.
Even my description of nothing actually isn't nothing. Because
That's what I'm saying. It's not nothing.
For
It's
me-
nothing because you are limited into describing it.
No, wait. Why are you uncomfortable with nothing?
yes.
No. It's not that I'm uncomfortable with nothing. I'm uncomfortable with explaining what is nothing.
No,
But
no.
wait, how did you get to the point of being uncomfortable
About
about his
About it,
opinion?
no.
Nothing.
So it's because the opinion that he's expressing obviously is different.
Or just
from
say
my
I don't
perspective.
agree.
Yeah, maybe they don't agree.
We're not here to agree or disagree.
Yeah. So, and I'm saying it's very difficult for you to come to a point of you agreeing to it. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be based on this thought that is already limited.
Guys, we're losing.
Yes.
But all that I'm
I
saying
wanted to
is
suggest something.
all that I'm saying is that if beyond thought we don't know definitely what lies ahead or what is there or indefinitely, it's the unknown.
It's
And
the
because
unknown.
it's
Yes.
the unknown, that's why there's something called fear of the unknown. Because you don't know what
You can't
lies ahead.
handle.
You can't handle
step
it.
into it.
And so, because of that subconscious fear, you want to build up walls or defense mechanisms with positive thoughts. You become positive. No, I will make it. I will be successful. I will be happy. I will be in control. I can, you then start having these tools that support your mind from running away from thinking about the unknown as best as you can. You, in a way, go to your library or your mind, which is your tools, to prepare yourself from avoiding any situation that will be out of control of your own thoughts, And maybe people have visions because they go into a state of shock. And because it's a state of shock, it's a lot of thoughts
In
that
fact,
come
they're
out.
going into a thought of nothingness.
Yes.
Vision is something.
Yes, so because
That's
they
why
go
there's
into a
something.
state of nothingness, a lot of images come up, hence vision. You can only go into your vision state if you outside of your physical state. So you have left thinking and you go deeper and the images just come. Hence they don't come with sound, they don't come with emotions. It's just visions because your memory has already stored them. Sometimes it stores them in future, sometimes it stores them in present, or sometimes in past. So your visions then come, but you are now outside. You are in your godly state, but you are outside of your body, and you cannot think because you cannot attach.
That's what a godly state is. There's no time at that
Exactly.
moment. Yeah.
So maybe we don't have the right phrases or the right words.
Because we are like when you put it, we are agreeing to. I'm agreeing to what you're saying. In a way,
You know.
But I think for the purpose of being able to continue with this conversation, let's structure what we're describing correctly so that we can find each other.
Okay, no,
There's
so
no
let me-
correct,
so-
there's no right.
So,
there's no
as we are comfortable in the known
Okay.
all the time, that's why this conversation is happening. In the structuring of our lives and all that. The unknown is uncomfortable. We don't want to be there.
Hence,
We
I
are
wanted
willing
to
to
suggest
discuss about it,
Yeah.
but we cannot stay with that. It's
I've
almost
been
as if
asked-
I'm asking you, think of something that you don't know. It's blank.
I've been meaning to suggest this.
Now you
guys.
start thinking of things, you know. So that state there knows no division
Yes.
because there isn't a thing. For there to be a thing, it means now there's a space in which a thing is. There's division between the thing and space itself. So the reason why we have conflicts and division in this world is because that state is unbearable. Not us. The state is unbearable of itself.
I can agree
Unbearable
with you.
to
I don't
this is
agree
what I'm
with you.
You see the state that okay.
That's
like for
thing.
example, the state that you are describing.
Yeah.
For me,
I
is
say
a
this,
destination. It's a destination.
Yeah.
For me.
No,
It
you
is.
see, you think you are going toward it, but in fact you're actually running away.
That's
no,
how
no,
you
no,
perceive
no,
it.
no, no.
Forever.
Yeah,
That's how
no,
you
it's not-
perceive
it's
it.
not a personal business.
That's how you perceive it.
There
Why
I'm
we
with
having
you.
this?
that state, it's actually the evolution of the soul to go
Yes.
back to it. Because right now we are far
From
away.
that state.
That's why we can experience fear.
1, 2, 3, you're
greed,
making us
whatever.
bend, and some of us we can't bend, guys. You're making us bend. Let's have this conversation this way. If you throw a point, let the lady say her opinion to the end, you say your opinion to the end, I say it to the end, you say it to the end, you say it to the end. We can see from
it's like
different angles, because now
Yeah.
we're only looking at this from 2 angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see,
been-
and
Okay, let's start from the far side there.
No, let's switch it around.
Yeah,
Let's start
let's-
there.
Yeah.
We've been talking. Let's start there and give them a chance.
Okay.
Meg?
Oh,
yeah,
it's
it's none.
No, I'm handing it over to
Okay.
him because, no,
Okay.
I
From
got
what
lost
you've
in
been
thoughts.
hearing.
from what I've been hearing, I think we're talking about the same thing. We're just needing a description,
Yeah.
you know, which really is going to get us into wrong directions, right? So I don't know how else we can point at it, but maybe the simplest would be what you got to in mentioning this current moment, you know, this now as it unfolds,
Yeah.
right? So, which is the conduit of the nothingness,
Yeah.
you know. How do you capture that? Right? Because your understanding is quite full in what I've been listening, as well as, you know, everywhere. So as this moment is unfolding now, we're listening to each other now,
Yeah.
right? There's perhaps nothing else that you are chewing in your head, but only this presence,
Yeah.
right? You can even, you know, how do you then capture that to really say, this is really what we're looking for? You get?
Yeah.
So there's perception, you are seeing this moment through that perception,
Yeah.
right? He's assumably doing the same. And those are conflicting. And then we come back again and say, but those conflicts are part of the unfolding. So I think we can sit here and you know, ping pong and, you know, share perspectives and all of that.
Sure.
But in doing so, we are just acknowledging this moment that, you know, everything is unfolding now, and let's look at it in our own perspective.
Sure.
And yours is not different from mine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And in me seeing yours not being different from mine, doesn't take away from it being happening. It's the same moment. So, I don't know, my brother. How do I experience the same with you, with the filters that I have and the filters that you have, but see it the same and experience the same or whatever, and then from that experience, go back to you and say, okay, what is the human nature in all of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you then segment what you perceive as human nature, which talks to the whole.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong from yours and mine. It's yours. But it's serving you. In the way you partition it, I'm seeing it in this filter and it makes sense for me. Right? And as it does that, accept it and then allow the whole to unfold, because you're just part of it. I think that's short.
You hit it.
That's very
You
well
hit it. Oh, Nana seems like she wants to say something.
No, guys, carry on. Carry on with him.
So to add on what he's saying, or to describe more to what he's saying, there's the whole that is expressing itself through each and every one of us, or each and everything, trying to experience what it is to be you, to be me, to be that, in order to inform itself, to create a new unfolding out of all that information. So, how, to add on what we were describing before, how do you get in contact with that whole? Because of our level of consciousness and thinking now, you can only connect with it through experience, through meditation, where you calm yourself down, stop that flow of thinking running. What's going to come after that, when you stop that, is this sensation when that it flows through your body. That's where now you can actually imprint or channel whatever information that you are looking for or that is necessary at that point in your life. That's where someone can see visions, that I was meditating, then a thought just came in or a vision just came in my mind, then I saw 1, 2, 3. So it goes to show you that that underlying being or source has everything in reality, whether future, past, current, has everything. What we are serving for it is just to experience as he put it, to experience the unfolding of the information that it's already encompassing in that being. So there's nothing new or nothing old. It's all just in there. We are just here as a tool in order to experience the knowing of that being that it's already there. So, you can add.
I think by that you agreeing with me. We are just one organism.
Sure.
You are the red cell, I'm the white cell. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You seeing me killing whatever I'm killing, it's because I'm a white cell. A white cell needs to do whatever it needs to do. So in a society example, the conflict will come from somebody doing what they are meant to do. Me, I will sit down and look at everybody's job, like what is a policeman's job? I minimize it to say a policeman needs to manage crime, not eradicate crime. Because if they eradicate crime, they don't have a job. A lawyer doesn't have a job. A magistrate doesn't have a job. So it's families. They are also part of humanity. They are also here for that one rule, which I normally say people don't like to handle that rule, that we all here to survive. Everything is like every second is there to survive, so it can serve its purpose. It's survival. It's also part of your purpose. No matter how sometimes it might be looked as bad from where you're standing, but it's part of that whole. That's how I look at this whole concept of life.
Correct. Yeah, we can go to our brother.
Do mine too.
No, I'm actually in agreement with what they're saying. To say, let's see how things then unfold in our difference in perspective. If it's the now, let's see how that now is unfolding.
Could it be there is nothing with, if I were to use knowledge and thought as one, but I know they are different, but if we write, or the definitions that we agreed upon, if I were to use knowledge and then experience, can you have an experience without knowledge?
Which was my question. That is
So,
exactly what I was
the
asking
experience is more like, for it to make sense, it relies on knowledge for that experience to make sense. To say, I'm experiencing this, you have some knowledge of that certain thing, or whatever, it's bits or pieces, but you have something that can help you to describe that experience, which,
So in
let's
other
say,
words,
they
can we
say,
have
to
it-
say godly state,
Yeah.
you have some knowledge
Exactly.
about
Yeah.
godly state.
Yeah.
Then whenever you experience that thing,
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, this is godly state because of.
Yes.
So knowledge and experience, they need each other.
So
Yeah.
in other words, can we have an experience without an experiencer?
Uh-huh.
No, we
Can't.
can't.
So it goes back to what we were saying, to say there's the unknown, which is the conscious or the unsubconscious. You decide how you define it, or the godly state or whatever, but it is the unknown and it is out there. And then there's the thought and the emotions, because the experience is the emotions, you know. So you think and you step into the emotions, and the emotions give you the experience. And the experience can either take you to the unknown, which is your godly self or your conscious or awakening or whatever, or realization, and then you come back to yourself. Or your experience will keep you in your thoughts and inspire other thoughts, or sometimes even images, which will be the visions, you know. So at the end of the day, all of these things are always coexisting. And because they're always coexisting, we can't stop thoughts. We have to agree that we cannot, there's not a single moment where we can stop thoughts. And because we can't stop thoughts, then society will forever live in division. Human beings will forever live in divisions within themselves. Your mind will forever be in division. Your emotions, your experiences, even at some point, your state of godliness, I believe, this is now my perception, you can still be in division within your own godly state.
Absolutely.
You can still be in division, because I believe when you reach that state of godliness or state of godliness, you ascend. You've got to ascend. Otherwise, you are very dangerous if you're just going to enter into your state of godliness and then be like, okay, I'm good now. You can't. You have to ascend. There's a certain ascension. As you ascend, you are vibrating at a higher level. As you're vibrating at a higher level, it's different energy. That energy that you will feel. And as you're feeling it, you are experiencing it differently. You are thinking differently. You are expanding into multi-galaxies, universe, you know, and that makes your physical, which is now on Earth, a broader perspective where you can understand life from whichever point of view, but that is always connected to your state of godliness. So because of that, even within your state of godliness, you're still thinking, you're still expanding, you're still evolving, you're still ascending. And that ascension is unknown to say, when can you say, I have reached the ultimate state of ascension? Gurus are out there still meditating, still trying to figure out how to get to the next level of consciousness, you know. Authors are still writing books about the mind. Neurosurgeons are still trying to figure out new stuff about the brain. Humans are still trying to figure out what more is out there. That's why people are going to space to figure out, now that we've experienced Earth in its entirety, what else lies out there. And so because of that curiousness, that inquisitiveness, I don't think thoughts will ever stop, even for a single second. Even when we are asleep, we're still thinking.
Continues.
That's the point I wanted to get.
You
at.
know, we are still thinking. So because even when you are in theater, having an operation, you are still thinking. You'll come back and you'll say, yo, I saw my grandmother. She said, come to the light. I said, no, it's not that time for me to go to the light. You know, you're still thinking. And even when we die, we are still thinking. After the soul leaves its body, you are still in thinking, because you just change physical forms. You go from the ultimate physical to a permanent godly state. And even in that permanent godly state, you are still continuing. You are still in existence. You are still thinking. You are still ascending or descending or at a state where you are stagnant. But either way, you are still continuing. So you can't stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. You know, when the debate was happening, I got lost in my thoughts, you know. So I don't know if I missed it somewhere there or whatnot. You say thoughts are constant, even during sleep, right? I often hear people say when you meditate is when you pause them. So I want to understand what happens in meditation.
You're in control. It's like you're the HR of your thoughts. Human management, but you're managing only your thoughts. You know, to say, I don't want to think about the bad. I don't want to think about the wars out there. I don't want to think about jealousy. I don't want to think about hate, So it goes back to his universal laws, to say that there's a universal law in which we are all aware of and know as human beings. And when you are meditating, you're trying to pull yourself towards that, or to gravitate towards those universal laws and principles and core values, of which those universal laws, values, and principles pull you closer to your state of godliness. When you pull closer to that state of godliness, you come to a state of awakening. And when you are aware, you are able to manage certain things from happening, alter certain realities for yourself. And after meditating, you then come out to be a more consciously aware person, and you're able to make better decisions about yourself, your body, your environment, other people. You're able to coexist within yourself in harmony, coexist with other beings in harmony, coexist in other spaces in harmony. Whether I'm Christian, he's Islam, we're able to coexist because I can control my own state of consciousness or godliness or whatever, and my thoughts, and I know what is wrong and what is right, or according to me, what is wrong and what is right, and also bouncing it off back or referencing it from the universal laws of how to coexist as a society.
I think it was my turn. You guys. Okay, so first of all, thank you for allowing this place to be a free space. Really, I'm glad. Generally, when people are disagreeing, it means truth is fighting to come out, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm always very happy. But this is how I look at this whole movement of life. I feel man is trapped. Man is caught in something that perhaps is not even aware of. Is caught in time and space. Now, personally, I don't have a feeling of me being separate from anything. I realize that I'm only aware of the division between any of you or any of space and time only through my thinking, which is me. I am the source of my division, which probably is also happening within yourself. Whether you agree or disagree, that just proves the division in action. Because for you to agree or disagree, there must be a division. So man is limited to this level. We've tried all different ways of moving out of this. Now, thinking that death is an escape from this is the divisive nature of man. Again, the life and death. I think that is a very good escape as well. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed when you go to sleep, you always end up dreaming. You might not remember them, but you always dream. Now, when it's happening, it's really real. You would wake up screaming because something horrible is happening. Why do you think that is separate from here? So, that is another division that I find very hard to accept, because I somehow see the linkage between daily life and daily sleep.
Okay.
Personally, meditation to me isn't crossing legs and singing or whatever, or prayer even. This has been a very good meditation to me.
It's true.
I was inquiring within myself. I was learning every other second. I was correcting myself through all of you. So I'm learning. It's almost as if I'm looking at myself, telling me about myself. It's only through relationship that we can learn, after all. You learn that you're jealous because of someone, because of that whole division. So in a way, it's a way for me to get back to myself by talking to you guys. So this to me is meditation. I don't have to seclude myself in a room there, again, do that division of reaching a certain place. So this is a very serious meditation to me. And it happens that when you look at things this way, which is life is in meditation, then that meditation is always there, including in your sleeping hours. Now there, I'm not thinking about the cab that I will take, I'm not thinking about the money that I have to make. I have much more freedom, which allows me to open up more, to be more inquisitive. And if there's one thing that of course there's so many experiences, I'm sure some of you must have gone through that, but if the highest I've ever reached there is realizing that this isn't there. In a way, it's uniting nothing and something. There's no more looking. And that I can only reach when thought has seen its own limitation. It slows down, and then the nothingness shows itself, which
Pops
is
up,
this
yeah.
moment here,
Yeah.
now. Any other thing, I'm only aware of it through thinking, having captured it, and then I go back to it. So it gives a sense of beauty, a sense of well-being, a sense of compassion, because I know that literally this is the world trying to be something, showing itself through conversation, through all the ugliness we can see, all the beauty we can see. And that in itself has tremendous value. It brings some sort of order. And my hope was, as we're talking, know that you can learn something from me, because you can never really learn something from someone. Someone triggers something in you that you now end up learning within yourself. So you are always learning from you yourself, really. You capture it, and then you look at what you've captured, and then you learn something. So it's almost as if I'm trying to corner. That's why I'm sorry, my brothers, when I was, being hard, even though sometimes I was agreeing. But I want to corner you so bad that even after here, there will be those small moments of you now being comfortable with cornering yourself. And in that corner there where you are alone, truth is there.
Magic happens.
So I think that's all I can say, and I hope in having these discussions, even you on your own, you can reach some sort of understanding. And I was hoping, of course, there's so many things we can do, even though some of them involve money. But I don't think it's important to look at the difficulties. If we have an idea, if we have a goal we can achieve, then these things always come around the corner, So the idea was, in the long run, if we can make tangible actions, try to put some order in our chaos, maybe make a specific place where there are these logistics that allow people to have the free space to talk, allowing people that don't, because you can't think about these things if you haven't eaten, if you haven't a place to sleep, if you can't move around. So life is always fighting what we're doing here. Life is fighting. Yeah, life is surviving, because you're taking it to death. You're igniting it. It's almost as if you're trying to remind yourself that you're dead. So a poor child can never look at this thing. A man conflicted in himself with diseases, or I am a superstar, or I am, when you still have those difficulties, you can never have the free space to look at this thing. So eventually, if you can find a way to create not only a space where this can happen, but also help few people get away from those small limitations like food, accommodation and stuff like that, which it seems most people are putting a lot of emphasis on it. Like, let's feed the orphans, let's help the poor. It's good, but you can only help them as far as you can. But they still have to get to where we are. They have to eat, sleep, but then still they have to get to this point here.
Everyone gets to it.
Yeah. So hopefully, as we go, maybe we'll be blessed. We are many now. I started it alone in a way, but who knows? Maybe there's one who will get a lot of money one day. You can start it on your own there. You build a space, you help people, but with the idea that you can free them enough to get here so that they can be completely free. And you are always learning, because here I've learned so much, literally. I always come with an empty mind. The very second I realize that I have an idea that has become some sort of structure, I try my best to fight that idea, and I fight it by arguing with someone like you. You push me to a corner until I drop it. So hopefully that's what we can do in the long run, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, true.
So thank you very much for coming here. You can add anything, but that's all I have for today.
Okay. Oh, can I add something?
Yeah, go for
Yes,
it.
please.
In commentary to what she was asking about meditation, because for me, the fundamental thing that empowers a person is understanding how reality works and how you can participate in order to have reality play out how you want it to be. So visualization and meditation is one of the key things that can help you with this, because what happens when now you are able to go into your meditation space and calm down and clear your thoughts, and your mind stops playing those thoughts, it gives you an opportunity now to imprint on space-time, or in reality, your intention that you want to see play out in your life. So what you're going to experience, or fundamentally what you need to understand first, is you have your body, which is its own being itself. That's why you find yourself, you can have a certain desire, but your body acts otherwise, without you even understanding, but I wanted this, but my body went and influenced me to act this way. So if you understand that your body in itself, it's a mind, and what we call subconscious, it's actually your body, and the way it gets programmed, it's actually from what it has been conditioned to experience. For example, the example that I like to give is, let's look at driving. You can say you have conditioned your body to drive to the point that your mind can wander, but your body can just drive you home without you getting lost. You're not even thinking about the road. So the same type of way, you can condition your body to get used to or experience the reality that you want to experience before it even unfolds. That you find your body just guides you to the events, the people which are necessary for you to get to that reality. And you do this through meditation, because with meditation and calming your mind and clearing it out, you can play that reality that you want to experience over and over and over again. But the key thing is your body needs to feel it as if it's happening, so that it can recondition itself towards that reality that you want, because you're trying to break the habit of the reality that you are currently on, that you don't like, towards the one that you like. So through meditation and visualizing, that's where now you're going to introduce the reality through your mind. Have the body experience it over and over and over again, up until it's so used to it, subconsciously it just drives you to the reality that you want. That's why we're going to find synchronicities, coincidence, things which are happening, which are out of your thinking. Then you'll find yourself in the reality that you were looking to experience. So that's the power that meditation and tapping into that God self that we are talking about, that offers you. Because at that level of reality of that God self, that's where everything is available for you. All you just have to do is tune into it, imprint your intention over and over again up until your body is used to it. Because when you look at the function of our mind, we can only experience what has happened. We can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow and what not. Yeah, we can only experience what has happened. So if you understand that, that means only our body can guide us to the reality that we want or even don't want. If we look at just the pattern of your life, your mind is just there to experience, to reinforce that this is my reality. So to empower people is to give knowledge of how do you now consciously choose the reality that you want so that you can purposefully go in that direction, unlike you constantly experiencing a pattern of reality that you are totally unhappy with. That's why from the level of source, there's no good or right. It's just all an experience that you are tuned into. Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
Have you ever tapped into that?
Yeah, that's how I live my life. Since I started studying this information, applied it, and I saw the result. It works.
How? I want to understand. I want to ask a question, specific question.
Yeah.
When you get there, how do you describe that? How does it? What is it?
You get this sensation of electricity through your body. It just runs through your body over and over again. You feel a sense of well-being, peace, high level of calmness, abundance. So these positive emotions that usually people be talking about, those are the intrinsic nature of source that is just going to flow through your body. Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, the person who was trying to introduce me, because it's always somebody or some book or something. Please help me, because I could be holding on to something which is wrong.
Okay.
So kind of like they explained meditating to me, it's like you are the tree, the leaves will keep on falling. You have no control of those leaves falling, meaning the thoughts will keep on falling. And I just need to watch those thoughts, not act on them, not fuel them. You know how to fuel a thought, asking that
by chasing
thought.
it.
If you ask a thought a question, it expands.
Sure.
So to me, I was taught meditation is just watching those thoughts falling off just like that. Was I taught the wrong thing? Because this is my way of meditating. I just sit I watch them. That thought comes. If I don't fuel it, it disappears. Another one comes. So was that person wrong to me?
Or maybe to also respond. When we were talking and I said meditation, it was not with regards to a specific thing.
Okay. So just to say in the mind, using the mind. There is that definition you used, it's okay. It's also, I understand it. But using the mind meditation is, the question is, can you stop those thoughts from just falling like leaves? Because to me, I was taught you can't stop them. So hence, that person taught me I can't stop them. So I hear these guys, they're talking about some calmness whereby and then you reach certain. So I want to understand that part. Because to me, whenever I sit or whether I will be focusing on one thing or listening to, the thoughts keeps on falling.
So I think, please.
I can relate. But with me, it was not taught. You know, it came in the form of me simply just trying to cope and get myself to a safe space.
Okay.
You know, an event had taken place. You know, I had just received unsavory information, you know, and well, it was about somebody that is important in my life, you know, and you know, if it is unsavory and it makes you feel unsafe, the first thing with me that happens, I panic. I panic. A whole lot of thoughts come. And you said you are in control once you reach a state where you are able to meditate. And in that moment, I simply said to myself, detach yourself. This is not your experience. Thoughts came and it just fell off. Another one came and it just fell off. And in that moment, I found peace, and I was able to still present myself, be there for the person without centering myself in it.
Which, which goes back to what I was saying, maybe at the point when I was saying it, you understood it differently. So I said you can reach a state where you then decide if I'm going to entertain this or not entertain that, right? In trying to reach this state that can make you exist in a harmonious way. So that was just one of the many methods that you can use. So when we say meditation, we are not saying this thing where you sit and then you do that. No, no, no. It's a broad term to mean what works for you becomes your meditation. What works for her becomes your meditation. So when I sit here and say my experience, I'm not saying apply it as I say it. I'm just saying there is a state. And one of the characteristics of this state is that you have to do away with what you think you already know. One of the characteristics of it. You have to come to a point where you are saying, because I know that what I know still did not save me to be at this point, it means it's inadequate. It means I need something else. Because if you are in trouble, it means the whole movement, whether it's thought, whether you want to call it whatever, has led you into that situation. And because it has led you there, into that state, you have to look at something else. So when you start looking at that something else, the settings or whatever you might want to call it will not be the same as her or him or anyone of that matter. It's a personal journey. But because it's a personal journey, it does not mean it only exists in him. So that's why I was saying we are all here on a universal need that we feel we have. That's what brings people together, that common thing that they have. Even though that thing may take different forms, but we are here because there's this thing which is called by different names, right? But we are here on that path. How she's going to solve it will be different from how he solves it. So maybe it's at that point where we then realize that it is a state, one, that you can reach when you put away what you think you know, because you see the limitations in that. And you step into the unknown. And when you do that, do not step into the unknown in fear. Because at that point...
Fear is the known.
Yes, it's the known, but I'm saying now you have abandoned it. You see, you have abandoned it, and because you have abandoned it, your mind cannot conceive that thing. It can't, do you understand? Because you've left anything. And because you've done that, it then tells you that that is impossible. But is it? Is it impossible? Because if it was, are we here in unison looking for that it which is impossible? So that is why I was saying we might not know how to get to the destination, but it does not mean that the destination is not there. It is there. That's why we are here. So you can't deny it just because you don't know what it is.
And when you'll get there.
Yes, and just because even the next person that is trying to explain it to you is explaining to you in ways that you don't understand, but you are here for it.
Could it be something that cannot be explained, should not be explained?
Otherwise, if it is not there, what are we here for? You see?
Let's hear you.
Yeah, you want to say something?
So I think maybe then meditation is the wrong word. You know? It's, let's just say, have tools of controlling your thoughts, or trying to control your thoughts and trying to control your emotions. But in psychology, it's called emotional intelligence. In that state that you were in, you exercised emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence of knowing how to detach yourself from a situation and how not to project what you feel into the situation, so that you are able to think clearly or come up with the best solution. Whether it's the right solution or not, but at the end of the day, it's exclusive of your emotions. So you practiced emotional intelligence. So that's why I'm saying that maybe we shouldn't be calling it meditation as per se.
It was just a broad term.
Yeah, because also that's what you were explaining, to say you are choosing emotional intelligence. out of inquisitiveness, you keep probing them so that you can expand how you think. But you're not taking offense to what they're saying, which is different to your perspective, because you are removing your emotions to it. So the more you probe, it's the more you learn. And the more you learn, because you are learning with the absence of the emotion, it's able to expand you positively, and you're able to walk away with something. So people who are not emotionally at that state of awareness, again, consciousness or godliness, they can't separate their emotions from it. So therefore they take it as offensive or as hurtful
or deny
it or do whatever because they constantly are in it with their emotion.
Yet your presence.
So then you limit your experience and you limit your intake of it because your emotions are in it. That's why they say your emotions cloud you of a lot of things. So psychology in a way sometimes does help. But when you go back to meditation, it depends on how far you push yourself with meditation. You
push. You said push.
Yes, you push yourself with meditation. I've once done Visapana. There's a program in Cape Town which is called Visapana. It's also in India.
The breathing one?
No, it's not the breathing one. It's in India, and it's basically available in all the Asian states. It's a 10-day silent retreat. It starts with 10 days. It goes to 15 days, 20, and until 30 days. Or sometimes they even do 60 days. It's a practice that the monks have done.
The vow of silence.
It's not a vow of silence.
Not for eternity, for a certain period.
No, it's not a vow of silence. It's a meditation of silence. Silencing the mind, the body, the emotions, the spirit, the everything, and trying to live yourself in absence. In absence. And if you do that, that's the one time where you realize that there's no such a thing as when I'm in meditation, I can control my mind. When you go to that program, you get gurus of gurus. You know, gurus that people follow on YouTube. The first day, people fall out. People cry. People break down. Because all sorts of thoughts and emotions arise from that experience. And guess what? No one is teaching you anything. No one is speaking. No one is saying anything. There are no images or visions. There's no sound in the background.
You're dealing with yourself.
You are dealing with yourself because what they say to you when you get to the Visapana, first of all, they take away your phone. And they take away your beads something and whatever, something to distract. You take away your beads and you are all dressed in one color. You choose your own color. They don't say come in red or in pink.
Is it the one where they don't even tell you what you do?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's that one, you know. You don't come with a book, with a Bible. There's no mantras. There's no chanting. There's no teacher. They take away everything. There's no cigarettes, no alcohol, nothing.
No distractions.
No distractions. You choose your own color. If you say, I'm only going to wear green, you wear green. Then you cover up because they don't want distractions once again. So long sleeves, everything. Then they separate the men and the women when it comes to bedtime. But when you are meditating, you're in the same hall. You wake up at 4. And there's no time. You don't know that it's 4.
It's 4.
All you hear is the gong. Once the gong go gong, you know, okay, it's 4. Right? You've got 30 minutes to bath, 30 minutes to make your bed, and at 5, you sit outside your room and you're already meditating. It doesn't matter how you sit. You can cross your legs, you can do this.
No one is teaching you.
No one is teaching you any formula. You can have your hands like this on the side. It doesn't matter as long as you are going to be able to sit in that position, one position, without shifting, without looking at anyone. So if I decide to sit like this, I must sit like this for the next 4 hours. Just only blinking. I can't move my head. Yes. I can't move my head to the left. Listen, I can't look left. I can't look right because the minute I look at boss, they see it as communication. Our bodies have communication. So it's silence in everything, in every essence of communication, except for blinking. You can blink, but you can't You can't look at someone. You can't change your position, because they say the minute you change your position, you're communicating with your body to be comfortable. It's training your body to be comfortable in the most uncomfortable of positions. Changing your body to say, if it's cold, you must train your body to get conditioned to the cold. So it's silence in everything. That's why I said it's not a vow of silence.
Do you also
It's
realize
silence in everything, you know? So if we say meditation, you have to know how to push yourself to go to certain levels. And the higher you go, or the more you explore, because you'll be thinking, trust me, in that silence, you're even thinking. As you are thinking,
thing you can do.
as you're thinking, I promise you, all sorts of thoughts come. Past, present, future, mistakes, fear, regret,
Trauma.
love, trauma, everything resurfaces. People were screaming, people were crying, people were stuck in dead silence. Some people could not sleep. Some people were exhausted. Some people collapsed. And when we started, there was 200. Day 10, there was only 5 people left.
But do you also realize that what you are describing is something like the process of it is an attempt to shut down?
Yes, that's what they
Yeah,
wanted us
But
to
does
do.
it ever
Thoughts.
shut down
To
with
shut
your
down
experiences?
yeah, obviously, like we said,
With your
you are looking for the
individual experience.
destination. I'm saying,
Yes.
don't look at it in terms of destination, because right now we are saying all of us don't have the answer, you know?
So more like no living human being has ever experienced this thing quiet.
As far,
More like.
maybe as far as we know.
Yes.
That's
you
why I
know.
wanted to
Yeah.
ask personally your experience.
Yeah.
You said you feel an electric
Yeah.
sensation, and then what?
Okay, to add on what she's saying, all these mediums that we are talking about is to actually just take your awareness within your body, because your body is the contact point that you can connect with the source that we are talking about.
Yeah.
So when you take your awareness within the body, outside of your thinking,
yeah.
that
Because
sort
that's
of place,
conditioned.
outside of the conditioning of the environment,
Yes.
now you're going to feel that electricity, which is the sensation of the state of source, which you are going to recondition your body towards it, outside of external conditioning. So meditation is going to help you to recondition your body to the state of source, that when you are used to that state, you are going to bring about that in reality, and you navigate life from that place. Because you need to understand that your state of being will influence your pattern of thought. We can't stop thought like completely silence. We can only determine the pattern. If right now my state of being on a day-to-day is stress, anxiety, depression, that is going to heavily influence my pattern of thinking and
Yeah,
thoughts that
habitual
run in my
creatures.
mind.
Yeah.
So the key thing, if I can just change the state of my body, is going to influence the pattern of thought. Because when your body now is conditions toward calmness, abundance, peace, you'll see even your pattern of thinking is going to align with that state. So it goes to show you the fundamental thing is the conditioning that you got while growing up is going to be a key determining factor of how your life is going to unfold. Up until you understand what we are talking about, you recondition it towards how you want it to be, then the pattern of your life and your thinking starts to change, because life has a feedback loop that it needs to reinforce your state of being that you're living your day-to-day life with. It has to reflect that. That's how source gets to experience different patterns of life experiences. So the liberating part is we have that independent thinking that I can determine what I want and what I don't want. But the key thing is you need to experience it in your body first. Then after experiencing and conditioning your body to get used to that, it will now determine your pattern of thinking. Now, by law, reality must reflect that there's no answer
in the midst of that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking, right? You do that meditation.
Sure.
You realize that your thoughts are always the past.
Sure.
You are always living something that is created,
Yeah.
which means you are not creative.
Yeah.
In essence, meditation is to be in a creative state.
Yeah.
In
Where-
its pure state.
The
Yes.
pure state,
Yeah.
creative state. That's the end result. In a way,
Then I get it now.
You understand, right? That's what I was saying.
Because
It's the
from all
destination.
these-
It's the destination, and then you trying to understand that because the destination has not been reached, therefore this thing is not there. So the attempts that he's talking about are even your inquisitiveness to say to me, this I, there is no I. If there is no I, why are we even discussing it? Your mind is telling you that it is there, but it is there in a state that you don't understand it. Do you understand? Because if there was nothing, you're just going to sit there and say, I am very certain that there is no this thing that you're talking about, and then maybe even discussing it. But there is that destination that we are all seeing. Perhaps the difficult thing is we are trying to reduce it to one way of reaching it. And that's where conflict comes up, because we are Africans. We have our own ecosystem. It's achieving the same thing, but in our own way. So when you then quiet down everything that you've been conditioned, it then brings you back to the source. But because no one knows about the source, because no one makes that, we haven't come to a point, and like all things, they are a process. We haven't come, like what we are saying, there are different cycles. Maybe we haven't come to that part where human beings have now come to a point where they realize, like they realized with other things in the past, and this thing that they are telling us, and a lot of people are coming to that, no, this thing that you are telling us, it doesn't seem to be the way you are explaining to us. People come to that.
Yeah.
So look at it in terms of governments. There was a time when it was monarchy. And the majority was saying it's monarchy.
It's correct.
Do you understand? So there is a process which happens in the physical, but that also reflects itself in humanity as I. You see? So now we have democracy. We don't know what evolution it's going to take as it evolves. But it's trying to attain that one thing, that how can we live together as human beings? It's the same thing that is trying to achieve, but in a different way. And because we know there must be that place where him and I should agree. It's seated and ingrained in us. This is why we always try and get to that part. So the challenge is the understanding that source.
That's why I like the fact that we are trying to create. Hence, we can call it God state, creator state. We are trying to
I'm asking these questions
name.
purposely. I want to find out. So, meditation is being in a state of creation. Basically creating, which is what you call God state. Now, have you experienced that so far?
Experience the creating.
Creation. How does it unfold?
You get to that state, you feel those sensations rise within your body. You play with it, it rise, you condition the body to experience it continuously. Then, depending on whatever you want, because we don't want the same type of things in reality, you imprint, you start seeing yourself. The one that I like to do is...
So you visualize.
You visualize. You see yourself experiencing the reality that you want to experience. The one that I like to practice is, I'll see myself there. Then when I see myself there, I thank myself now that I was able to commit to the path to get here and not get shaken.
But but that to me seems to be the same pattern of using the past to
everything.
the future.
If we really,
so what I'm asking is this: creation. What we say in creation isn't just imagining something. I'm saying as in you creating this reality. Visually, physically. Have you done that?
No, you can't do that, because you need to understand that every possibility that can happen, it's already there within the system. All that we are doing is to tune in which reality are you now going to walk in the path of. Because if it wasn't there, you can't go there. But within the underlying system, any reality that you want, there's you as a hobo, you as a criminal, you as a billionaire, it's already there. all that we are doing.
Yeah, that is already, you see, the possibilities already have been created.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there's a state
Yeah.
of creation
Yeah.
where possibilities are put forward.
Sure.
That's ultimately, to me, that's how that's where meditation should land you.
Yeah.
Now I'm asking, have you experienced that?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm understanding you
No, I think
correctly.
maybe what he's trying to understand is because it's a state of creation.
Yeah.
Bluntly put, you are saying what has he created out of that experience?
You're saying that?
No, have you ever
Have
landed
you-
at a point
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
of,
that,
of,
that.
of,
Yeah,
of
a point where
creation at the
something comes out of nothing.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm not understanding what
This
you
came
say.
out of
it's
nothing.
still,
This came out of nothing.
Oh, you mean this came out like for example,
For example,
right now? Yeah, you could say it's part and parcel of that timeline that I've been tuning myself into. Because you need to remember, like as we have said, our mind is not meant to predict the future. It's just to experience the unfolding.
to understand the future,
Yeah.
to understand the
present.
past.
Yeah, it's to understand the past, to
Yeah.
experience what has happened. So what we usually do is tune ourselves to the possibility of whatever reality and get to experience what that reality has for us. Let's say, for example, like radio stations. Your body or you yourself, you are a radio. Depending on your emotional state and your pattern of thinking, you tune on which radio station frequency are you gonna tune into. You tune to Metro FM, Gagazi, whatever. You get to experience what Metro FM possibility or timeline has for you. So depending on what you've conditioned yourself to, whether it's deliberate or not, because some of us were conditioned based on the environment that we grew up and we never break out of that. So depending on what you've conditioned yourself to, now that will lead to what your mind or your life is going to experience. Since we can't predict, all we can do is just to experience the unfolding of reality.
Okay, I get it.
But to answer you, I have landed at that point of creativity. So I don't experience the electrocution part of it, but maybe it's because we meditate differently. But the first steps of meditation for me is awareness of the space, no matter where the space is. And then it's focusing my thoughts into saying, how do I want this space to hold space for me? How do I create a safe environment for me? And the reason why I do that is because I suffer from anxiety. My anxiety is so bad that I would not leave the house. And even now, I'm a routinal person. I set on my calendar that there's going to be a podcast at 12 and it's going to be with Boss. Boss cannot tell me at 11 on the 12th that, hey, Peter, can you come for it? If you were to do that, even if I have the time and I'm not doing anything, I'll say no. That's how bad my anxiety is. You know, I need to prepare and condition my mind. So in meditating, I've learned how, even when I'm not sitting in a specific position, but even when I'm just walking in a space, like what you were saying, meditation can be anything where I have to condition my mind to say, focus on the space. You're at a mall. Okay, what else is at the mall? There's people. How do you feel safe around these people? What are these people doing? There's different noises. I don't like noises and sounds. They instill fear, or rather they trigger fear in me because of my childhood trauma. So when I'm in a mall, I need to be consciously aware of the sound. So I'm paying attention of there's this sound, there's footsteps, there's this, there's that. But to be so aware of it that it doesn't trigger any of the
That's
sound.
her meditation.
You know, that's my meditation.
Yes.
Because what used to happen before I used to meditate, I'd go into a public space and I'd end up having panic attacks. And then I would cry and people would think, or if you come close to me, I get scared that you're going to attack me. Next thing you know, I'm breaking down, I'm crying, and the person will be like, but I didn't even touch her, didn't even talk to her, whatever. So I had to then know how to meditate, even if I'm on the go, even if I'm on the move. So when you get to that state of being able to control your mind and your emotions, you're able to be aware. And when you are aware, you are able to create. Because in that space and in that environment, I'm able to create an emotion. There's people, there's music, people are laughing. Let me also be here. Let me be present. You see, now I'm creating this reality that I want to live in and to be a part of, and not a reality that would have been created by my body and my mind out of shock or out of trauma or out of past experience that I have experienced. So you do get to a state of creativeness, you know, where you get to determine, am I building a car now? That's why creatives would wake up at 3. Let me draw now. Let me paint now. Let me write this now before I forget it, because maybe in their sleep, they were in their state of meditativeness. And then they reached that point of creativity. And they didn't want to lose the sensation.
Yes.
And so they try to capture it as fast as they can.
Yeah.
That's why people take out their phones and they record stuff or take pictures of stuff, because they're like, it's their creativity that is happening in that moment. And then they decide to tap into that creativity. People who dance, I mean, there's a guy who's deaf but can dance very well. And I was very shocked when I met him in the UK, because I was like, how is he able to? So when I had a conversation with him, written conversation with him, but he said he listens to the sound, the beat through the frequency of the floor. So with his feet, he can tell whether it's a high tempo, low tempo, or whatever. And then he's able to, and he moves as if he can actually hear music. So you see, he had to tap so deeply into his state of consciousness and awareness to a point where he could dive into creativity. And in creativity, where you are without limitations, which is what he was saying. You are without limitations because now you know that you are free. The possibilities are endless. You then choose how you know which one works best for you, your personality, your life, what you want, what you don't want. And then because you've tapped into your creativity, the possibilities are endless, and then you navigate. So when you navigate, you then have I want to see myself there, and then you start working towards it. But obviously, it's now a goal and a vision. You constantly have to put in the energy to work into it. So I feel as though even if you're not aware as a person that you do meditate,
You're constantly
I feel
meditating.
people are constantly
you're constantly
meditating and constantly tapping
You know
into
the creativity I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You call me crazy.
It's not.
I think I have the same question. Can I throw mine? Then you.
Please,
Is there something new you can create in this?
That's what I'm talking about.
So the
You
blocks.
see, no, let me tell you this, my brother. You see, that to me falls under, see, a man who has a goal,
Yeah.
who has an objective, there are steps. The very fact of having a goal knows already the goals. The goal is there.
Yeah.
And he will achieve whatever goal that is there. So to me, that's what creates time, that's what creates space.
Yeah.
Still, that falls under the trap. That's what I call trap. It's a very beautiful trap. I mean, look how beautiful this trap is. It's created all these things. Yeah. But I'm saying creation in you. You are creating Philiswa. The whole existence of Philiswa. You come out of Philiswa and the whole history, the whole time, the whole space, everything there is and will ever be. You put it, well, when I'm saying you, it's not a personal, but there's an awareness that you are creating it, and you can literally see how it is becoming physical. You can jump from space to space, time to time. That's the creation I'm talking about.
You want
So-
to?
No, I wanted to maybe put a spanner in the works in the approach that we are all looking through in saying there is some path, to that creation space.
Yeah.
And perhaps maybe that's a bigger question to saying, is there a path, or right? Is creation just here? And you don't need to, maybe your word in saying you just need to tune in. You don't need to really, go to a specific
State or
state
space,
or whatever. It's existent in us as we are.
I feel you can step out of this any second.
Any
Yes.
second.
Yes. It's a
Perhaps
possibility.
that's really the discussion,
Yeah.
or rather the looking that we should bring in saying, why do you step out? Because you are here. Why look at going somewhere? Because you are here.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying step out. I'm starting from, to me, the way I do, well, I call it meditation. I'm very hesitant in calling this fancy name meditation. First,
I always find fault also.
always-
This common way.
I see my limitation.
Okay.
I know I'm limited. I can create an idea of non-limited. It's part of my limitation. It's almost as if saying, I desire not to desire. That's still desire. So the same way, thought as well. That's how it happens. The very attempt to stop thought is a thought, is a creation of thought. So that's on a very, very subtle level. Realizing that any action to stop that is the creation of that action. So that's you being very, very careful with your own creative nature on that level, superficial level.
Yeah.
So you don't control it because you understand there's no need for control. Any sort of any control means there's a controller who's controlling something else that isn't him. But you're catching yourself every other second. So you go on with your daily life like this. But there are these moments that come out of nowhere because you've cornered yourself so well. You've known yourself. You've known all the tricks to play with yourself. Then there's that's what I call step out. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no time, there's no space that isn't created by that. Let me say
By
that.
that,
It's called
yes.
that.
Yeah.
And it can be seen step by step, including how thought is becoming
Unfolding.
material and the conflict and the, I can use, if I knew English, I could use the best English I have.
I doubt there's one
Good job.
way. All translating.
There's no word to describe that thing. All I know is I'm not that.
I think
That's all I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
something that can't be explained, but we keep on trying to explain.
Put labels
That's what's
and
creating
put
these
words
explanations.
Because
That's where we
trying,
are.
Yeah, we are trying to
It's there
explain.
in your head, it's
Yeah.
clear, but trying to tell this guy exactly.
So are we?
You're like, no, let me try again.
Yeah.
You say it and then you listen to yourself. No, it didn't.
And you know one thing I've noticed?
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed? See, you see it, right?
Yeah.
So generally when it happens, it's in a setup like this.
Yeah.
The first thing is I need to know that this isn't illusory.
Yes.
So I start investigating. So when I look at Feliso, for instance, I'm touching Feliso because I want to know that Feliso is
real.
He's
actually
next
real.
to you.
Yeah.
But I realize that my very touching is the creation of the feeling of touching. You see? So then you understand.
Are you creating the feeling of touching or are you experiencing?
No, you are creating the feeling of touching. So you create the movement of going towards something that has to be felt. Physically, you can see it. You can even change shape of the thing, completely creative. There's no limits whatsoever to that thing. Now, then you start getting lost in thoughts because that's thoughts now, you know.
Okay.
And then by the time you realize it, you find yourself here having a normal discussion. You know, the
It's
day
gone.
to day,
Yeah.
the timeline, and so on. But then when it comes back, you back into it. The only purpose when I'm there is after the joy of it, the epiphany of it, the beauty of it, you know, light. I mean, imagine creating light, you know. When you get over that, next thing is you want to find someone who knows that actually he is you. So you want
that
a mirror.
Yeah. Because what you're talking about is finding someone who's at the level of thinking that you are me experiencing the angle of reality of
From
where you are
your
born,
pet-
your family, your
Yeah.
environment.
So I am looking at me. I
Yes.
want someone who knows that he is looking at himself.
Exactly.
So could it be that thing we were talking about when I said you will tell somebody something and then be like, how do I know that thing?
Exactly.
No, so all those
You're saying
things come.
things.
You know, when you snap out of it,
Yeah.
that's when you have all these things of synchronicity.
So I mean,
you know,
could it be
Ah.
that
Those small-
moment when I'm advising this guy, let's say using that example of advising. Let's say using the example of advising. At the end of the conversation, I realized whatever I was advising him, I don't know that. How did I get it?
It felt like a
That
download.
way.
Yes.
It felt like
You know, actually,
Is
the
that
game,
moment
it's
we're
a
talking
very
about.
hypocritical game, this whole life thing, it's playing with itself. So you kind of have to be very, very careful to catch yourself, how you're denying yourself, you know, how you're denying whatever. So, you know, it's and you know, when you step out, that's when you have these things. I guess pastors are really good in that area of prophets. You know,
They're
his
just
son,
truly
and all
into
that.
the
Yeah.
possibilities.
Or
Yes.
scientists coming up with all
into-
these inventions. I don't believe in any invention.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like discoveries of some sort.
Yeah, it's a discovery, yeah.
That's when you have all this synchronicity. You think of your mom, next thing your mom calls you. You know those things.
Yeah.
But the only goal in that state is to find another man who's seeing that. Now, once it happened to me, there was a man who realized that he was me. The very discovery that he is me, there was a complete collapse of the entire reality.
Okay.
Completely shut it down.
What is that experience
Now,
of collapse of
which,
reality?
which materializes as waking up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now, during the day, you start seeing the patterns of what
Okay. Oh, you've
you
woken
were
up to-
creating.
Yeah, in some spaces they say you had a psychosis episode.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
People call it
exactly
different names.
what
So now
you're
you start
talking
seeing
about.
the patterns.
Yeah.
Which is
The
why it's very
filters.
dangerous, this thing, because now when you tapped into this, because it's so creative, so basically you are responsible for whatever that is happening in this world.
Yes.
All
Yes.
the ugliness.
Yeah.
Because of your own creative,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And then
So
you
this isn't something you just play
reduce it
around
to-
with. I feel like you have to really be
Yeah.
good.
The whole
before you
is
start
within
playing
you
with
and
this.
you are within
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, you influence the whole.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we're out of time.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for making this possible.
No problem.
I hope we'll find other ways of communicating and maybe in the future keep this thing running. So thank you very much.
No
If you have
problem.
any last word, please go ahead.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
good.
I think
Yeah,
that's
oh,
good.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's been good.
you
It's
never
been
good. I
great.
know you guys. We have a lot in our minds. Let's not be right.